out by DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, because they became aware of the fact that the sewage system, the treatment plant that is there, because of the gallonage per day, they have a treatment plant. The treatment plant was not processing the waste and it was blowing out of the ground. DEP invited us, to a representative of our office, to go out and do the field investigation with them. Tim Myers in the office was able to take photographs of the overflowing septic, and in the background you can see the residents out on the patio getting a little fresh air. We did not find the situation.
These people are compromised to begin with.
Yes, right? They are. Yep. So again, our jurisdiction is not the septic. The only thing we license there is the kitchen. Because of the environmental hazard that was there, though, we did order them to stop doing laundry on site. So basically stop or cut the amount of water that was going out, because the complaints that we had been receiving from residents and visitors there were that they were turning the toilets off to save water. And
that would certainly come under our venue, right?
People, basic human rights, yes. So we said, you need to flip that. You need to take the laundry off site. And we also told them that they needed to switch to paper and plastic in the kitchen, so they would not be running the dishwashers.
And this was all just recently?
This was the end of May.
Okay.
Apparently they had been waiting for some cartridges type of technology that needed to go into the plant. DEP ordered them to get the repair going as soon as possible. They did subsequently get those trays in, get them installed, and the plant is operating as it was intended, and we did give them permission to go back to doing their laundry on site and doing tableware. As that's happening, we also have a few other things going on. We have a report of a group A strep infection in a wound that was there that's reportable to the state. The individual ended up at the hospital. And we start getting other phone calls about the toilets being turned off, about improper wound care, about concerns about diabetics not being fed breakfast till 11 and there not even being a nutritionist on site. Lots of different things. Unfortunately, they're not under our purview. They're licensed by the state, by the Department of Healthcare Quality. So what we have adopted as a practice is every complaint that's coming in, we're logging, and then we're submitting it to healthcare quality ourselves. It's a mass email type of thing. We have gotten a couple of responses. I finally did find a person there. I think you guys had read, I included you on an email that I had sent to the state about not getting a response.
Yeah.
And I finally, through that, somebody did call me. I captured her email, and now every time I get a complaint, I let her know as well. And she kind of expedites it going over to the triage side of it. As a result of us making a lot of noise back in June, they did have a team out doing an inspection. They only were able to document one, and they don't call them violations. I don't know what they even
call it, findings.
Deficiencies, I think.
Yeah. And it was not relevant to any of the things that we had been complaining about. It was relevant to improperly evaluating and adjusting meds on people that were being readmitted. So you go out to the hospital for 2 or 3 days with that strep or with another type of infection, and when you come back, your doctor says your Eliquis is cut, or I want you on antibiotics or whatever, and they weren't making the adjustments. They were falling back to what the person had been on for a protocol before they went to the hospital.
So do they have a medical director?
Yes.
Okay, because the medical director is responsible for, this is called transition of care, so transition of care medication. So if they're not following up, then that person needs to do that.
Yep, so they documented that. So when I spoke to the woman at Healthcare Quality and finally got a response back, and she did say, yes, we've got a team there, I hope they're going to be done today. I said, great, can you CC me on the report? And she said, absolutely not, we can't do that. Now, it just was to me, it's such the contrast where DEP
Right.
called us and asked us to go with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And healthcare quality told me that until it was case closed, I could not receive a copy of the report, and I only could do so through a public records request on the state website.
And we have little or no jurisdiction there.
Yeah, over these issues, the
These
healthcare
issues.
quality
Right.
issues.
Healthcare quality, that's CMS and stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Can we make complaints to Center for Medicaid,
Well, it sounds like you're doing that though.
Yep.
right? Yeah.
to the state, but also for like to CMS, like Centers for Medicaid Service, because they get all their funding from there. So that's a good.
I'll rile any
Yes,
cage.
so CMS, Centers for Medicaid Services, they have their own independent, they will not pay if they deem a place unfit.
Okay.
So if they are charging CMS for all of these items and things that they are providing services to these at-risk humans who have no advocates, they get involved. So a complaint can be made by anybody for that.
Wonderful.
So they're good. They're good to
Very good. The other plan that I have is I plan to try to connect with the Ombudsman program.
Yes.
And see what their take is on a lot of this. We had a complaint within the past 2 weeks during one of our heat stretches. A loved one called and said that the air conditioning wasn't working. Again, we're being as effectual as we can be. Luckily, we have rapport. In that particular situation, Tim Myers was able to reach out to the facilities director and say, hey, what's going on? I know you've got a generator and we've got a complaint saying, it was a Monday night, saying that there's no power in the room and the AC is off. He did respond that he would look into, he wasn't aware of anything and he would look into it. He did come back with there was a problem and they had moved a mobile unit in to take care of the heat issue. Whether or not it was the unit was frozen, whether or not they had tripped a circuit beyond being able to reset it, whatever it was, they were able to, again, but it took us calling and having a connection to get to on a Monday night to get the problem resolved.
Yeah, that's troubling that it didn't come from within there, that they recognize there's a problem with an at-risk patient.
Right.
That's horrible.
So, yeah, you have
That's
people,
horrible.
you have residents who cannot advocate for themselves, so they're a special population. With the state of Massachusetts, if you get a factual report, we can file Massachusetts Protective Service individual reports on individual patients. So if you have an individual family with documented individual risks because they are elders, it's considered elder abuse. And Protective Services reports can be filed on every episode of abuse. And that's usually a good thing to do. So if you have a documented person, a documented event, anyone can file. Anyone is a mandated reporter when it comes to elder abuse. Anyone can be a reporter when it comes to elder abuse because it falls under elder abuse, right? So if you have someone who can't advocate for themselves and if it is too hot, that's considered, inappropriate housing, etc. I'm questioning, have we had any reports of infestations? And if so, is that under our jurisdiction?
So we did in February have a complaint about cockroaches in one of the ward kitchens. I don't believe it was substantiated when we went out and investigated it because it's food. But it is an old building. We typically, if we did find that, we would work with them for integrated pest management to try to figure out where they were coming from, insist that they get pest control in, but I don't think it was even substantiated.
I had a couple constituents mention it, noticing it crawling on their loved ones while they were presently there, and I encouraged them to reach out to this office. So I just don't know if they have done that, but
No, we have not received that.
Because if that was something, if there was actual substantiated reports of residents having infestations or bites, that's something that this department can handle.
Yep.
Okay.
Who's the owner of record of that facility?
That's a very good question.
Is it
It's
private?
certainly a corporation somewhere.
It's a very good question because after the initial order was written by DEP has since reached out to us because the owner they have listed on the groundwater discharge permit is not the owner that they were finding when they did a record search. So they when they bought, whoever has it now, which is, I forget the name of the company, and it's not listed anywhere on the state's report. It's just Southeast Rehab and an address.
That's troubling.
Yep, but the two addresses, the two companies were not lining up for DEP. So they were looking for information and trying to get the sale actually and the licensing of the facility's sewage works back on track as far as notifications and reporting. That's partly, one of the things I reached out was like, we haven't gotten a report from them in a while. So there's a few more gaps that are they're slipping through. We did have issues with them during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We did have issues. We do have ongoing issues with, they do not seem to be able to keep staff very long, especially in leadership positions. The director of nursing, the assistant directing of nursing. Yeah. They don't even have like personal emails. It's administration at Southeast Rehab. It is DON at Southeast Rehab.
Well, and I understand the jurisdiction issues, but I'd like to, I don't know if it requires a motion or if it's just, we talk about it or it just
I just
comes from
wanted you
your-
aware
But
because
I
we
think
are on
I
it.
think a letter goes to the owner of record, or at least
Yeah.
to the emails that we're aware of, that the Easton Board of Health is monitoring the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want is a Steward healthcare in our own backyard and having Easton identified as, with all the bad press and everything that happened over at the old Cushing Hospital. Last thing I want, and a lot of our local residents,
Yeah,
not that everybody deserves the same protection, but a lot of our local residents are going there at in the last chapter, and I think that's horrible.
They
Horrible.
deserve better. Yeah.
Yep.
So whatever
That's why-
pressure we can put on them
Yeah.
politically or otherwise, I think it's worth
for
doing.
sure.
Do you agree? Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. I feel like we can encourage people to actually report.
Mhm.
So if there is
It's just the agenda.
if there is an incident, to actually
Mhm.
report it, not to just because the person that brought the issue up to me, the proper way to do it is through reporting.
Mhm.
So I encourage them to do that because until that's done, it's just a rumor, a hearsay, this or that. If there's any evidence of something, to bring it to this office so that we can properly investigate it.
Yep, and we're, like I said, every phone call that we get, we're encouraging them to reach out to, we have the email address for healthcare quality,
Okay, great.
and we're saying email them, CC us.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And
then-
I would think if it's something that's significant that is related to someone who can't advocate for themselves, you could consider filing protective services. Because if you're given actual information like this, it has to be this happened and there's evidence this happened. It's an easy file. Anyone can do it, and we can do that. I just don't know how else we could help and would want to help.
Well, I'm thinking what
What other ways?
and I
can we
appreciate the
inspect it?
stats that we're seeing from the fire department, EMS
Yeah.
response up there. Do we have anything else from the fire department? In other words, we have wonderful paramedics in this town.
Yeah.
Are they getting us anything saying, hey, you guys ought to be looking at this, or the state should be aware of that? That's a resource we might want to talk to the fire chief about. And I really, something like that, I
'Cause
find
they're
horrible in
also
a full court press. I
Yeah,
think is
they're
what
also
I'm-
mandated reporters too.
Correct.
So if they saw something that was not appropriate, they can do that.
Correct.
So it might be worth sending police and fire some kind of memorandum
They're
like,
up there every day.
hey, if you're in here every day and you see something, we need it documented so that we can move forward and take care of it. The other thing would be reaching out to the medical director specifically, because ultimately they are responsible for these humans and their well-being.
It sounds like that role changes frequently.
Yep. And if basic needs aren't being met, that's something that needs to be addressed. And if that person is not fulfilling their duties, that's another thing that we could address too. If there are actually documented medical inaccuracies. The other thing too is I work in these type of facilities, and they may have the volume of calls may also be because they're afraid of litigation. So anything that happens, if medical director is not available, that could be the reason for the EMS. Or they just might have very strict guidelines of why they call EMS so frequently. So some places, if the member falls or they think they're falling, they have to activate EMS. So just kind of
I think
understanding.
a lot of the call volume too is dementia and mental health issues up there as well.
Is that what it is? Can't handle
I think that's part of the call volume up there. Yeah.
mental health and wellness. So is that something that we could help and assist with also? You know, is there something, is it just that they can't handle the behaviors?
So it's disheartening. I'm sorry to
Yeah,
hear all this.
yeah.
I really am.
Well, it's one of those things where in my email that I had sent to you guys after I had sent to the state, is that, if this does end up on the news, if these, the loved ones, if we're not able to, and I've said this to the state and to everybody, we're in this together because.
Our goal is to protect the people in our community.
But the reality is, when the news crews are up there or something happens, they're not going to care which branch of public health failed these people.
No.
Correct.
We will have all failed
Absolutely.
them.
Correct.
And that's how we're approaching it, is anything we can do to be the squeaky wheel.
100%.
We're definitely pushing the squeakiness.
It's the right thing to do, but we also don't want to be on the wrong side of Stewart Health.
No,
It's reached the level where I just felt you guys needed a
No, I
briefing.
appreciate that.
Is there a way to put together, extrapolate, the types of calls that EMS is getting over there? Like put it in a table of, is it behavioral? Is it actual true emergency?
Their logs would reflect that.
Yeah.
They could actually put the stats together for us.
Just to
I
see
can
what.
ask Evan Malone, our captain who works with our community
Because it could
paramedicine
be
group.
the volume of calls is because that is their protocol. It could be the volume of calls is that things are being ignored and it's leading to that, and that's a different story, right? So if you have a call every day because it's their policy to call no matter what, okay. But if they're calling all the time because they're having these major events that haven't been noticed or haven't been taken care of, I feel like that's a different story. I don't know how we could, intervene in that, but
But it would be good to know.
It'd be good to know, why, what is the root of the calls? And is there some education that we could be doing or, to figure it
Anything
out?
that we could be doing to make it a better experience and a safer experience for the people there and our emergency responders.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's a lot of calls.
I really appreciate you bringing that
Yeah,
to the
for
table.
sure.
I really do. That's one, and the fact that you're passionate about it, it's obvious.
Absolutely.
So this is great.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's very sad.
And I just
It's very,
And
very
it's
sad.
unacceptable.
No,
In our
it's very,
town
very
limits,
sad.
it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And it's taking a lot to be deliberate too, because the calls keep coming and getting, instructing staff that no, this is, document it, email it off to the state.
And what type of things would we have jurisdiction to enter the premises for an inspection type thing? It would be sewerage, kitchen things?
Yep.
Okay. So infestations in kitchen, sewage issues,
The
kind of
toilet's being turned off because the septic isn't working.
temperature issues or building safety? Would that be? No.
That's
Okay.
healthcare quality.
That's healthcare
That's
quality.
who licenses them.
Okay.
Just like we license the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
We would license a semi-public pool.
Gotcha.
The state licenses the facility.
Well,
does.
and if we're not getting, and I'm not suggesting we're not getting what we need from the state, our partners in the state, then let's use our political liaisons and get that involved.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna have to be, if we're working hand in hand, and if they're gonna give us the courtesy calls and we're giving them the information, then I think we should be able to get up there with them.
So I'm gonna ask Evan to pull a little bit more out of the run reports, see if he hasn't already started to extrapolate what some of the calls actually, what bucket they may fall into. I'm gonna reach out to the head of the ombudsman program and find out what they're seeing there.
Can we also reach out to the state representative that is in charge of that area specifically? Because I know in Easton it's split, but that's a good contact.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think.
Cooperation that we're looking for at the state level.
Who specifically it is. I can't. I just don't know by street.
I think there's a screen where you can plug it in by street.
So that would be a good, because their office would handle those type things and have good contacts within the state.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a good next step too.
Good.
Okay.
Well, bad, but good. All right.
We will keep you updated.
What else do we have?
We had posted a variance for 30 Columbus Ave. We're not able to discuss it because it actually isn't 30 Columbus, it's 60 Columbus.
I noticed the application and the posting were two different things.
Yeah, so the actual variance is being requested at 60 Columbus because it's not posted properly, we can't
have
talk
the
about it.
Okay.
On the upside, it is not a failed septic system, it's not a sale that's being slowed down,
Okay.
it's the installation of an in-ground pool.
Okay.
Hmm.
Do they have a plan, do they need us to revisit this when it's fixed, but when it's,
So
Yeah,
we
well,
can
it'll be on for
we
next
could
month.
either schedule another meeting to handle it, but they need to re-notify all the abutters as well.
okay,
So it's not, it'd be 2 weeks, you meet in 3.
okay.
I think we'll just make sure we get it right the next time.
Okay, hi Donnie.
Hi, Ronald, sorry.
Hi, Dottie. Yeah, cause if they got their, I would say I would leave it as if they got their, if it's, was it an error on their part or, no? Okay, so if they got their stuff together and notified that they were ready to move forward again, I'd be happy to reach out.
I would as well, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to hold them up.
Okay, I will
If
give,
it- if
we'll
it
give the
wasn't on
engineer
them,
the
then-
option then.
And 100% we
Yeah,
could
right.
get together and get
Yeah.
something done.
Yeah.
I would
That would
even,
not be
if
helpful.
it was even difficult, if it was a different time of the week, if we would accept like a Zoom meeting to do it, I think I'm willing
That's
to be
fine.
flexible, and as long as 2 of us are, we're good, right?
Yep, no, sounds good.
So, yeah,
All right, I will have Mark reach out to the engineer of record and ask him which course of action he wants to
Great.
pursue. Like I
Perfect.
said, they have to notify the abutters at least 10 days in advance by
Yeah.
certified mail. So
Cool.
that's kind of a 2-weeker anyway.
If they got it all done and it was done before our next scheduled meeting, I'm willing to make an exception.
100%.
We have no betterments. Staff notes, this is my staff note
This is
thing.
what you,
This is kind of,
it's a lot.
It's a
right now.
lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
it's a lot tracking it, it's a lot, we are doing a lot of outreach work as well, I'm kind of wondering if that's why Dottie was poking her head in. The select board, which also act as the rent control board, were supposed to meet tonight for a hearing to entertain a request to raise the rent at Easton Mobile Home Park, Manufactured Homes Community, as it kind of a means to an end for the sale. But not everything lined up, so they've tabled it.
Okay.
But we are doing, as a big group, the whole department is doing a lot of work to try to make sure that the residents in there are informed, are properly informed,
Yeah, that's
have the
great.
tools they need to understand what's going on. So when last week, the week before, when it was the hearing notice came out, Mark and a couple of the representatives from the Frothingham team went down and knocked on every single door with a copy of the agenda, the hearing request, and it kind of answered a couple of basic questions for them. We had put on busing for tonight to get residents up to the meeting if they needed, if they didn't have busing. When it fell through, Tim went door to door pretty much today with the revised meeting notice that said they will not hear testimony tonight. They'll be continuing it to another date.
So they're
And he posted that. Actually, he didn't have to go door to door because he hit the mailman
great.
at the mailboxes who allowed him to put one in each
Great.
mailbox.
Great.
And posted it. So
That's great.
we're doing our best to make sure
For
that
sure.
they, as a group,
Are
get
aware too.
the proper information
Good.
from the source.
Good.
So.
If we have any residents who have concerns about this particular topic of the property on Lincoln Street, what is the best contact for them here? Just your office, just so I can make sure that if I do hear anything or anyone has some specific things that we can send it the best way.
So best way is either calling or, obviously written is so much easier for all
Yep.
of us. So Board of Health at easton.ma.us. That goes to all 4 of us in the office. It's a
Right.
distribution list. And then we, like I said, our process that we've been going through lately is evaluating them, logging them as complaints to us, even though there's not much we can do,
Yeah.
and
No,
forwarding
wanna
them off
do
to
everything.
healthcare quality.
So Board of Health at easton.ma.
And certainly maintaining a log of
Yep.
all the
Yeah,
communication that
that's-
we're receiving and sending up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it sounds very much
Yeah.
like we might need that, unfortunately, so.
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
Wow,
All right.
okay.
Which
Well, that's
takes time.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Well, it
to do
does.
it right, it takes time to log every little one of them.
I know you probably don't have it exactly, but how many residents are there at any given time?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do not know the answer to that.
Just wondering.
I know they do have, long-term residents and then they have short-term residents. Because we also, through Maven, the virtual epidemiological piece, we see, that's how we were aware of the group A strep.
Okay.
That's how we see little groups we start seeing flu.
Trends.
Trends that go through there with any of the communicables
Okay.
or
Alright.
reportables.
That's unfortunate, but hopefully
is.
we'll be able to help in any way that we can.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the last thing on the agenda is members' notes.
I have no notes, a question. How are we making out with Triple E and everything else?
Good. Our last
Perfect, I'll
meeting,
take that.
our last meeting was great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed that. I was asking for that meeting. I heard a great deal from another member about it.
There we go. Priscilla, who spoke, is looking for a resident captain on mosquitoes, and I nominated you.
Oh, perfect.
So I feel like you should reach out to her.
I would be,
They're looking
kidding
for-
aside, I would be very
I know
interested
you
in that.
were,
I
and
just,
For the meetings, I said, I know someone who would be
I
perfect
can't
for
let
this.
Mark steal all the thunder on mosquitoes and ticks. I can't
No,
let it happen.
No. So they are looking
I have to be a part of the fray.
No, they are actually looking for a board member.
I
They're
would be
looking for a board
incredibly
member,
interested in that.
and it is
because
not a conflict of interest.
I think the town does a great job on
Yes.
that. I've always,
Yep.
but again, and I think I live somewhat in the past.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I lived in the 60s and 70s when Easton was Mayberry, and I can remember Joe Cadoza spraying all the trees, and we can't do that
Yeah.
anymore. But I still think that
So Bristol
I
County,
think there's opportunity out there.
Bristol County is looking for the opportunity for a local resident,
Well,
and I think you should be it.
these are exciting times.
I know. So you can contact Priscilla. We all nominated you in your absence.
Yeah.
Unofficial title of Mosquito King.
Perfect.
Yes,
I like titles.
I know. But
No, I will-
but it
I
would
will
be
get on
it
board
would be
because-
representing
Very
this town
Yeah,
for Bristol, which is Firehouse. So I
okay.
think you should reach out.
I will do that.
All right.
Other than that, I have no notes.
No motion to adjourn.
Second? And yes,
Butler, yes.
Awesome, thank you.
thank you very much.